in the middle of listening to a Stellanation's video on the Stellanation of the dragon and the great felines, which is this year, 2024, I had the push and the call to drive up to McBride Springs, which is about 5 miles from here up the mountain. I'd spent a lot of time camping over the years at McBride Springs, and many of my paintings actually evolved from my time sitting, watching the mountain, and the incredible energies that came and presented themselves to me. So today, I was reminiscing on some of those paintings and what they meant. And sitting in the beautiful sunshine, which is thankfully here, I look around and I start walking. And imagine my shock and surprise. I'm a person who experiences life. And experiencing the nations has been very interesting in what the teachings are and how I can look back at my life, and they were also embodying within me even long before I knew about them. The Dragon Nation, that my understanding, is not the Disney and not the monster dragons that we see on movies. But it's a nation of the warrior, and its prime directive is to learn how to be a warrior in understanding the elements, the natural elements of earth, wind, fire, water, and ether, and how you use those as the, per se, weapons, if you want to use the modern word, of overcoming the enemy, or directing something in the way that is higher than the opposite. And so when I'm sitting on the stump of this magnificent tree, the emotions were so powerful. I'm asking the essence of the tree that was, and its roots are still deep in the ground. What do you have to teach me? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to know? And the tears flowed, I do have to say. And I turned and I ran my finger over from the edge of the stump, and I started counting the ridges that marked the lines. And I went up 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and I looked down and it's like, I'm not even in the middle yet. And I realized those trees in 1900 were saplings. 124-year-old plus. That they had the knowledge and the experiences of 124 years plus within the cells and molecules of this great, great tree, as the Native Americans would call them, the standing people. The emotions were really high and hard because McBride Springs had such an impact on me creatively. It's where the first picture I showed you, the painting of the goddess emerging, she literally came out of the mountain as I'm sitting there, vibrationally. And I looked, and it's like, what is this vision? And I had just asked the question, what do I paint now? And I looked up, and she is who I painted. I'm not a painter. This was probably 2011, late 2011. And so now I'm sitting on this stump, and it had a twin and I sit on that one as well. And then I get up and I walk back into what was a lush area. And I come across this one. And as you can see, it's a different type of tree. It is just as large. It too would have been a sapling in 1900, over 124 years ago. And I looked in the distance and there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these big trees that would have been. I can understand taking small trees that are not healthy, that have a disease. I can understand that. But what I saw in this one glade, I thought, well, are they going to expand the campground? I have no idea. But in relation to our responsibility as human beings, as the cosmic humans, and what the nations are telling us, and we embody them in ourselves, and you don't have to understand the stellar nations, you don't have to even want to know about them. But this is our humanity being expressed through our environment, or our lack of humanity being expressed through our environment. We know that the Amazon has been destroyed. We know that so many places have been destroyed. I am not saying that forest management is not required. It absolutely is. Yet the dollar is the deciding force that dictates what and how much is taken. That is something the cosmic human has to come to grips with. After that, I took a drive up on the other side of town, across the highway, down across Lake Siskiyou and around and up about another 8 miles to the other places that I used to camp. And this last picture is of the place that I sat and I camped. I don't know, back then I was able to camp for a couple of months in the summers with no issues or minimal issues. And that was my view. And the painting that came out of that view is the rainbow mandala of Mount Shasta. And that day when I created that, those colors in the matrix literally came out and personified themselves in front of me as I had my canvas and my paints and my pencils and pens. It dictated what I needed to create. And so I end that with that statement. Forgive me for being emotional, but I think this is what's required these days. To know the integrity of something, a passion, to know the integrity of a vision, to know the integrity of the importance of what we have in life, and to embody it in every single cell. And that includes the nations, it includes everything that we do, everything that we learn, and then we say we believe it. If you can't embody it within the cells of your being and stand in the integrity of it, when someone challenges you and says, no, that's rubbish, no, that's garbage, if you can't do that, then I ask you to find the place where you can do it. Sat Nam, Namaste. It is so.